The Journey to Alula, the Catalyst and the Characters. This narrative chronicles the deeply personal and perilous quest of Basim, a young man driven by the need to confront the ghost of his past, his father, Hakim Khalid, who was exiled by the Khalifa many years ago and left Basim behind. The catalyst for Basim's journey is a painting, an artifact of immense emotional significance, which Dwish, Basim's companion and mentor, procures in Samara. The painting immediately reminds Basim of his late mother's brooch and stirs dormant memories of home. The revelation that the painting originated in Alula, a legendary, ancient land his father had often read about and promised they would visit together, reignites Basim's desperate hope that Hakim is not only alive but waiting for him. Dwish, Basim's loyal companion and father figure, grounds Basim with philosophical wisdom, reminding him that it is foolish to deny the past yet also unwise to surrender to it. Dwish insists on accompanying Basim, providing emotional and practical support throughout the hazardous trek across the desert, setting the stage for their joint venture into the land of Alula. The key players. Basim, the protagonist, is defined by his abandonment and an idealized memory of his father. He is driven by emotional necessity, often acting impulsively in pursuit of answers, contrasting sharply with his pragmatic mentor. His journey is ultimately one of disillusionment and acceptance. Dwish, Basim's loyal companion and father figure. Dwish grounds Basim with philosophical wisdom, reminding him that it is foolish to deny the past yet also unwise to surrender to it. Dwish insists on accompanying Basim, providing emotional and practical support throughout the hazardous trek across the desert. Hakim Khalid, Basim's father and the architect of his emotional distress. He is initially presented as an exiled, possibly wronged, architect. The mystery surrounding his fate and the true nature of his past crime drives the entire plot. Nimlat, the principal antagonist. Introduced as a successful, generous merchant who offers refuge and stability, Nimlat maintains a perfect facade. His later reveal as the calculating, vengeance-driven chief of the local criminal syndicate, a true wolf in sheep's clothing, is the central betrayal of the story. Abbas, Nimlat's brutal and sadistic second-in-command. Abbas controls the local prison and embodies the raw, visible cruelty of the criminal network, contrasting with Nimlat's polished manipulation. He serves as a critical obstacle Basim must overcome early in his investigation. Hind, a kind widow whose recent tragedy offers Basim an entry point into understanding the local organized crime. She serves as a symbol of the innocent people victimized by the growing lawlessness in Alula. Investigation and capture in Alula. Upon their arrival in Alula, Basim and Dwish immediately commenced their investigation. Their initial efforts focused on the local cemetery, where the absence of a grave for Hakim Khalid served as crucial confirmation, maintaining Basim's impetus for further searching. Subsequently, Basim encountered Hind, a recently widowed individual, at the burial grounds. Following a brief interaction, robbers bearing a distinct vulture insignia attacked Hind's property. Basim's intervention successfully repelled the criminals and recovered some stolen assets. This event was pivotal, as Hind provided key intelligence, revealing that the localized criminal activity had recently become unified and organized under the command of Abbas. Concerned for her security, Basim escorted Hind to the residence of Nimlat, the prominent and seemingly benevolent local merchant, inadvertently placing her under the protection of the true architect of the criminal enterprise. In an attempt to gather additional intelligence at the market, Basim was ambushed and apprehended by Abbas's operatives. He was then incarcerated in the local prison, an environment characterized by the brutal and experimental sadism of Abbas. Despite the harsh conditions, Basim's captivity yielded a critical piece of information. A fellow prisoner disclosed the location of Hakim Khalid, referred to disparagingly as the old fool, who was reportedly residing in the Oasis district in a house identifiable by a blue door. This revelation provided Basim with a specific, actionable objective, contingent upon securing his escape from the prison. Following the acquisition of his father's potential location, Basim successfully engineered his escape from Abbas's prison. This extraction was facilitated by his companion, Enkidu, who recovered the cell key. Before departing the facility, Basim decisively confronted and eliminated Abbas, ensuring the demise of the cruel commander and initiating a tactical chaos that aided his flight. Although successful in his immediate objective, Basim sustained a severe injury from a poisoned blade, necessitating an urgent retreat. Basim was able to reach Dwish, who was waiting at the rendezvous point. Dwish not only administered the necessary aid for the poisoning but also recovered Basim's possessions, along with the very dagger that had almost ended his life. During his recuperation, Basim shared the intelligence regarding Hakim Khalid's purported residence in the Oasis district. However, a more profound and devastating truth was soon unveiled. Interrogation of a captive robber confirmed that Abbas was merely a subordinate and that the true leader of the criminal syndicate, the so-called real chief, was Nimlot, the merchant who had presented himself as an ally and offered sanctuary to the victims. This revelation exposed Nimlot's entire facade as a calculated deception and established him as the principal antagonist who had orchestrated the capture of Hakim Khalid. Armed with this critical understanding and a burning sense of betrayal, Basim determined that he must proceed alone to Nimlot's heavily fortified base to rescue his father and exact justice. Basim, fueled by indignation over Nimlot's betrayal and determined to locate his father, journeyed to the northern camp, Nimlot's principal base of operations. He successfully infiltrated the heavily guarded fortress, utilizing a retrieved whistle to mimic the required signal for entry. Upon breaching the inner compound, Basim was compelled to locate Nimlot, whom he was told had secured himself within a central tower. The protagonist ascended to the tower, initiating a final, definitive confrontation with Nimlot. Basim demanded the location of Hakim Khalid, but Nimlot responded not with a simple answer, but with a devastating justification for his actions: a father for a father. Nimlot then disclosed that he was seeking vengeance because Hakim Khalid had been responsible for the death of Nimlot's father, identified as Miss Odayakub in Baghdad years prior. Nimlot confessed to using Hakim as a calculated hostage, bait intended to draw Basim out for execution, thereby avenging the destruction of his own family bond. Nimlot proceeded to dismantle Basim's idealized moral framework, asserting that Basim's concept of spotless justice was naive, and that justice as consequence. The shocking revelation that his father, the exiled architect, was in fact a killer, a monster, caused a fundamental crisis of belief for Basim. The ensuing engagement was a fight born of generational trauma and revenge. Basim prevailed, killing Nimlot and completing a destructive cycle of violence, but at the cost of his former worldview. Following the intense conflict with Nimlot, Basim immediately began searching for his father. Upon reaching Hakim Khalid, he encountered a man who was deeply traumatized and suffering from severe memory disorientation, a shadow of the figure Basim remembered.